You are now listening to the Walk by Faith podcast. I'm your host, Jasmine Stiff, aka The Pretty Plug. I'm on a mission to tell the lost story that combines faith in God and success here on this earth. The world often separates faith and entrepreneurship as if it was mutually exclusive. But I assure you it's not. I interview the following types of people: entrepreneurs, business women, and businessmen climbing the corporate ladder, founders of nonprofit organizations, college students following their passions, and also artists on the rise. They are movers and shakers in this generation, and I intend to plug you in week after week with content that inspires and educates you to be all that you are called to be. Thank you for tuning in, and now for this week's episode.
She's just a girl and she's on fire, hotter than a fantasy, lonely like a highway. She's living in a world and it's on fire.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the 44th episode on the Walk by Faith show. This episode is being brought to you by Faith Tech Grow LLC, a company focused on developing and cultivating entrepreneurs and professionals by providing a digital marketing experiences to build businesses and increase their leads and sales, and also making sure that people are aware that they need faith to create and sustain their business. That way, when trials come, we know that our peace and source comes from you, God. If you have not already, please go to Instagram and follow at Faith Tech Grow to get the latest and greatest, and also subscribe to our mailing list with the link below in the show notes. So I told you all that I want to start off by giving you some business tips, just in case that you may not be aware, or just give you an idea of like what's inside of my head and what I want to put out into the universe. And what came to mind was just like pitch decks and like having your ideas in a format where if you wanted an investor or you wanted a partner or you wanted somebody to like really understand what problem you're trying to solve with your business, like what format you should use. So again, this is just some high level thoughts. I'm going to put a Medium post in the link in the show notes just so you have more information. But some of the key components that you're going to need in your pitch deck is one, what's your problem that you're trying to solve? I know at Faith Tech Grow, one of our biggest problems that we're seeing is a lot of companies are still not digital. The way they handle their processes, or they're not automated, or, you know, you want to contact them, but maybe they don't have a strong online presence. So we want to build that for them. Also, want to be able to tell their messaging. Lastly, a solution that we want to provide is just how to bring your customers to you without you having to do the work. I want you to focus on doing your business, providing your products, and we'll do the hard work of marketing and advertising and sales. Also, traction. A lot of times when we talk about traction, it's like, how many paying customers do you have? How much revenue are you generating? Are you profitable? Are the things that you're even trying to produce or create in your business gonna turn into money? Because if not, you know, you're just doing services and you may not be targeting it the correct way. You may not be charging it at the correct prices. Like, how much does this industry say it's worth, and how much of that pie are you getting? Also, products. So just an example, like Faith Tech Grow, we're going to have online training. If you all didn't know, Faith Tech Grow hosts this podcast, and also Instagram marketing, where we help to target your audience, grow your followers, and also automate your activity. So if you look at my Instagram, I literally in December, I was at around 3,300, and in less than a month I'm already at 4,400, going on 4,500. So we've been using an algorithm just to increase our followers and to find people that genuinely want to see my content. It's led me to 4 different engagements, a magazine. I'm going to be speaking at a school. Like, I'm happy with my social media results with what we're providing over here. Also, competitive analysis. How do you differentiate from your competitors? What is different? Like, let's say potato chips, like maybe your chips are Doritos, and I see this flaming hot stuff that's going on Instagram now, or maybe like you just have the regular flaming hot chips. I know I'm a loyal customer to the Frito-Lay hot chips, but maybe like with Doritos, well, now they're a competitor. How are they going to differentiate themselves? Lastly, just having a business model, a go-to market strategy, your ask plus financials. You need to know how much you're spending and then how much you're getting in return. And then just some additionals is the size of the opportunity, your timeline, and your risk. Again, I think it's so important that if you have a business or if you have an idea, even for influencers or people that are creating things, you need to be able to put down, hey, this is what I want to make this year when I'm pitching the companies. Like, you're pitching yourself. You're a business if you are an influencer. And I just think those are some important things for us to talk about. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk in the beginning of this show. So one of the real reasons why you're here is because Jasmine, aka the Pretty Plug, gives you a guest, brings you a guest, and highlights them to the maximum potential that they can be. Because our guests, they of course walk by faith, but they're successful in every single thing that they come and produce into this world. So our featured guest of the hour is a professional athlete, a serial entrepreneur, a public speaker, consultant, mentor, podcast host, and an Olympian. She's sponsored, y'all. And on her website, she has confessions. And in one of her confessions, I wanted to read it to you because it really stood out to me. And it says, 1, it amazes me when people tell me they are passionate about something, but they take no action to achieve that thing. It also amazes me that when they speak of all the things they don't want, seemingly unaware that the universe is receiving it in the same as it receives our requests and prayers for what we do want. Well, guys, she is living proof that we have to be 100% obsessed with our goals and doing whatever it takes to reach them. I'm here to tell anyone who wants to be the best version of themselves that doing something half, living in undecided gray areas, and not taking action with your passion is keeping you from all of the things you have ever desired. So you all, when I tell you she's an amazing woman, I mean, she an entrepreneur, a faithpreneur, she's an athlete. Just in high school, she was running the 200 meter in 24.6 seconds. When she was in college, she was running the same 200 meters at 23.85 seconds. And she kept that same personal best as a professional. Another stat about her is that at 400 meters, she was running at 53.3 seconds in high school. And also in college, she was running it at 52.15 seconds. And guess what? As a professional, she's running the 400 meter at 51.72 seconds. So this woman not only is outdoing herself from an intellectual, professional, but also in her athletic, her body. She's able to continue not only to get better over time, but her stats are getting better over time as well. So I want to bring to the stage Dominique V. Blake. Dominique, how you doing today?
I am phenomenal. Thank you so much for having me, Jasmine. I'm amazing. I'm actually so honored that you've asked me to come and join you on the show. And, I'm just excited to bring some phenomenal information to the masses.
Yes, and I agree, girl. Listen, because when I think about your stats, I'm like, Lord, whenever I think about running, funny thing, Dominique, when I was in high school, I was on the drill team, and my dance teacher used to say, run till I get tired. Now, she's not getting tired when she's sipping on her Sonic drink, got an umbrella, and it's blazing hot outside, but we running around the track. So that scarred me for my life. I am completely over running. Like, if you ask me to run, I'm going to look at you and you're going to be looking back at me, and we just looking at each other.
As track athletes, we always laugh because we tell all other sports, like, your punishment is actually what we do every single day. Because if you think about it, in basketball or volleyball, if you show up late or the coach wants to discipline you, he goes, all right, everybody, y'all got laps. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Yeah, but that is exactly, we run in circles as a professional athlete. I joke, but it's the truth. I run in circles for a living. So
Wow.
around the world.
Yes, and
But yes,
I always start the show out with an icebreaker because you're an Olympian. I've never interviewed an Olympian before, never met an Olympian until you now. But
Jasmine, welcome to Never.
welcome to Never, yes. And one of the things I'm always so curious about is like, one, what is the most intense thing you've ever put your body through?
The most intense thing I've ever put my body through, I think you know what? My brain is telling me my workout from 3 days ago, because as soon as I got done, I couldn't feel my toes. I couldn't feel my face. And I had to jump into an ice bath that was about 40 degrees. But
Wow.
other than that, I honestly want to say running 5 miles and looking down at my watch after each mile, trying to run a certain time, because I'd never run mileage in a certain time. My coach gave me a goal, and I ran until you know what, this is probably a little bit like a too much TMI, TMI, but I'm gonna spill it. I lost control of my bladder. That's how intense it was. Don't mean to gross anybody
Oh
out,
my
but it's
gosh.
the truth. I don't know if any of you, or Jasmine, if you've ever ran until you've lost control of your bladder, but it's a thing. It happens to marathon runners all the time. And it totally happened to me. And I had to just sit down on the pavement for about 30 minutes and collect myself and ask the Lord to take me to my car and to take me home. And it was fine. We made it. I had a whole bunch of towels in the car. We made it safely. And so, yeah, I'd have to say 2 years ago when I ran 5 miles, and I ran in 31 minutes. So that's averaging about 5 minutes per mile. And other than that, that workout 3 days ago on the indoor track here in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Wow.
I
And
won't think.
and one, like, I can understand, right? Like, you're putting your body through intense workout. Your bladder, like, I'm done. I give up.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
care no more. Like, I'm
Oh
done.
yeah.
You want to do
Listen,
this? I'm just gonna let go.
I do 1,000 abs per day. So another tip for those of you who wonder, what is it like for Olympic athletes or pro athletes in track and field to get that 10 pack or that 8 pack? We're absolutely, breaking our ab sessions up into 3 a days, 2 a days, to get that many abs in. So it's about 1,000 abs per day. And yeah, so imagine having a strong core and still being able to lose control of your bladder. It's serious.
Oh my God. And what is your most favorite workout and what is your worst workout? Like, I hate that. What's the difference? I gotta give it to the people because I
You know
want to
what?
know.
This is an interesting question because it really depends on the time of the year. So, in the beginning of the year, we have 3 different seasons or phases of training. There's the off season when we're coming off of summer break. You may be a little bit out of shape, a little bit overweight, atrophy, a little bit of atrophy is set in. When I say atrophy, a little bit of loss of muscle mass. So by the time, you wait another 3 months, you should have gotten into some shape, back into the weight room, doing some mileage, not quite adding in like all the speed work. So that would be like indoor training. So where I'm at right now. So I'm really, really strong, but coach has not put us in spikes yet. So he's waiting and has to really strategically and scientifically calculate when he wants us to peak. So he won't have a sprint. So he'll continue building strength, having us crush it in the weight room, crush it with the strength work on the track. Maybe once or twice, we'll have a couple mileage days or hill work, but he will time it so perfectly when he starts to sprinkle the speed work, because here's the thing. You can always strengthen the body, but you cannot maintain tip-top speed for a long period of time. So to plateau, you have to really time it when to start doing speed work, and to make sure that you're sustaining the body and not putting it in a position to be injured, because it's really, really easy when you are just blasting your hamstrings like that in coming out of the blocks and running like as fast as you possibly can. Does that make sense? So to answer your question, I would say my least favorite workout would probably be coming back from the summer and going through a long track workout where you're not really in shape. And then I'd say my favorite workout would possibly be kind of like a time trial day, but not really, but where you're running short reps. Like maybe we'll just have a all out 400, all out 300, all out 200 with massive rest between, because that will let me know how I'm going to compete once I get to race day, if that makes any sense. So I know if I show up prepared and I kill my race pace times in practice, when I get to the track meet, it's going to be a cakewalk, because I'm then coming with that confidence. It's like studying for a test before you go take the test. You walk into that exam room, you know you crushed the studying for the SAT. You went to all the prep classes. What? There's no sweating. You're gonna kill it.
Yes. And I'm always like wondering, how many calories do you have to consume a day? Because you're working out so much. If you eat a sandwich with one lap, that's gone. So like,
Gone.
how many calories are you having to eat? And then, have you ever gotten injured?
So I'm gonna answer your questions about calories. I don't count my calories, which is hilarious. So what I do make sure I get is at least 3 to 4 servings of protein of 20 to 24 grams each time I'm consuming a meal. So the protein intake is really serious. And so in the morning when I wake up, I really just try and get really small portions of my meals throughout the day. So I don't have any large meal. And especially now when weight is so important, weight is a direct correlation to speed. So my goal right now, I'm just going to give you an example. I am currently at 145 pounds. By the end of February, I need to be 138 pounds. So we got a couple more pounds to go. I've lost 10 pounds since we started training at the beginning of November. So just to give you an idea, my mornings are oatmeal. I'll have 2 eggs and my supplements and a lot of collagen. Drink a lot of collagen. After you pass age 25, you need to start taking care of the joints, because they do not treat you the same.
Wow.
And so, yeah. And then I will kind of just hydrate throughout the entire day. It's really easy for us to get dehydrated. For lunch, I will have a meal replacement because of the time of the day that we train. We train at 12 p.m. I can't have any heavy food. So the heaviest it could be for me is possibly maybe a bar and my meal replacement shake, which is about 10 ounces of everything I could possibly need in vitamins and calories. And then after I work out, after everybody works out, whether you're a pro athlete or not, after you've burned a certain amount of calories, you have a 60-minute time window when you can put in large amounts of carbs and calories, and your body is totally open to it. So right after practice, I'll have, I'd say, my biggest meal. And then, for dinner is I call that my real food segment, because throughout the entire day that I look forward to dinner, because that's when I can really comfortably eat like a little bit of rice and meat and and greens.
Oh, I love greens.
Yeah, love greens. I mean, I put greens throughout the entire day. Like I'll, put spinach in my smoothies and stuff like that. But for like real food, dinner is it for me. So.
Wow. And have you ever gotten injured? Because you're a professional athlete. You've been running since high school, college. Like, you've been running your whole life.
I have. I've been running my entire life, Jasmine. And I'm gonna find some wood right now. Knock on some wood. So I would say yes, but nothing serious, because I've always paid attention. Like at a young age, I've recognized if people just take care of the small things, genius, we can prevent large, the big things from happening, like major injuries. So if you're telling me, if I just take an extra 15 to 20 minutes every day before and after practice to stretch properly, and if I hydrate, I won't pull a muscle. If I just do these things, if I take my butt to rehab and I do exactly what my coach says, I can avoid that. Oh, done. Right? So I've just always taken the preventative route, and it saved me. I'd say the most intense injury I've ever had was maybe a sprained ankle, because once you sprain, I've sprained both my ankles throughout my entire college career, and so I think almost everybody has had a sprained ankle. But the thing about sprained ankles is Once you sprain your ankle, another tip, it never, ever goes back to being the same. So the ligaments and the tendons in our ankles never go back to what they were. So rehab is then a must for the rest of your life. And when I say rehab, I just mean rotating your ankles. If you want to do the alphabet, just doing resistance work, calf raisers, those things. As long as you're alive, you should be incorporating them if you go to the gym, at home, while you're in bed, watching TV. It has to be in order to make sure that it doesn't happen again, or that you don't have messed up joints and ligaments in your ankles. So, yeah.
Yes. Wow. Like, you already gave us so much information. So if you're out there and you're like an athlete in college, or you're a professional, like, she's definitely giving you the information you need. Stretch before and after. Make sure you're taking some collagen. Make sure that you're rotating. Hydrate yourself. Rotate those ankles. Like, I feel like even at this moment, I'm over here rotating my ankles. Just
Seriously.
Girl. I'm like, and in New York, I be walking every day. I'm like, Lord, keep my legs. Because if I don't have my legs, I'm not going to be able to go nowhere.
Nowhere, especially if you are someone that wears heels. You're stretching those tendons, and you're not giving them a chance to really recover if you're not doing those things. So just little things that people don't even think about. But when you get to 60, you're like, oh, I'm so achy. Well, it's because you didn't take the time, sir or ma'am, to do that when you were 30 or 20.
I agree. I agree. And so, Dominique, as we're talking, I hear an accent, and it's like almost like a Jamaican accent. So not only do I want to understand, like, your journey from living here in America to also, like, your Olympic story, I just want to know, like, all the things that you do. So just brag on yourself. Tell the people who you are, where you're from, what you do, like, just everything. Because I think I touched on it, but I really want to let you do the honors.
So thank you for giving me the opportunity and the platform. I know I've said it before, but I will continue to be grateful and show that appreciation. Dominique V. Blake is a pro athlete and a serial entrepreneur. Simply put, and my legacy, or what I want my legacy to be when I'm no longer here, is to let people really understand through my work, through my life, is that we can be, do, and have anything we want. Anything is possible. There are no limits in life. As long as your brain can conceive an idea, concept, it is totally doable. Something that's so funny. I was just watching The Secret, and how the thing about The Secret is it's no secret at all. That's the ironic part about the whole entire thing. And so my message, my entire being, everything I do for my passion, for my work, is surrounded around, just around that idea of, if you're committed to being the best, if you want something and you're committed to it, it has to happen. When I was, I'm going to take you back. So I was born in New York, raised in Kingston, Jamaica, and moved back to New York for high school. And then I went to Penn State University. I got recruited to every university you could possibly think of in the nation. And so I chose to go to Penn State University. It was just close enough to home, but far away enough that my parents or my family couldn't just pop up on me like, oh, knocking on the door, we're here. So I didn't want to be on the West Coast, because I didn't want to be too far away from home, but I wanted to be able to get home if I needed to, but be far away enough. And so, my journey to that point was all manifestation, affirmations, working hard, believing in my thoughts, believing in myself. But, take it back a step further, it is really what you're surrounded by and what you're feeding your brain. I can recall my mom really being that example for me, and how she ultimately cultivated the person and all the ideas just based on her practices and her telling me at when I was in her tummy, from to kindergarten, to being in the 4th grade. Do you know how beautiful you are? Do you know how amazing you are? Do you know that you are a superstar? Do you know that you can be in both of my parents? And so growing up, I didn't know it was possible to not have anything that I wanted. I didn't know. No, I didn't understand. No, I understood that things possibly could not go the way you want them to, just because you're not God, and also because we're on different journeys. But they did let me understand that persistence has to beat resistance. So, the law of average is real. If you try and try and try and try and you keep showing up and keep showing up, one of these days, you're going to get it. So it's just the person that's willing to stick it out the longest and endure everything that comes with that thing. So it would be the best thing for you and your little self to find something that you love so much that on the days that it's bad, it's still good. So I always look for things in life that I was really passionate about and that I really wanted and that really made me happy. So even on the days when it wasn't so good, it was still okay. And I was able to show up the next day and go through it. So I can recall being as young as 5 and, my mom telling me, everybody does New Year resolutions, but she's like, we don't do that. We do goal setting. So every time I'd go and tell her, hey mom, right. Hey mom, I want a new bicycle, or I want a Barbie dream house. She'd be like, don't tell me, go write it down. So I had so many black and white, those little composition notebooks that we have in like grade school.
Yeah.
Girl. So I would get those and I would write down everything I wanted because that's what my mother told me to do. She told me, don't tell her and don't beg her for it. Go and write it down. And I'm like, well, all right, this is what she told me to do. I don't really understand why she's telling me to do it, but I guess I'll do it. She's the mommy. So I did it. And ultimately what she was teaching me how to do was to goal set and writing things down and reviewing it and scratching things off that you receive and adding more. These are the principles and the lessons and the things that we need as adults and as just human beings going through life. There's nothing more powerful than the written and the spoken word. And honestly, my belief is that this, spoken words are spells that we're casting into the universe that have to happen, whether they're good or bad. The universe doesn't know a joke or a trick. It is going to give it to you. So if you're thinking it and you're saying it over and over and over again, that is your reality. So, I understood that very early, and I just really started obsessing over the basic principles of